Hi, welcome to class today. My name is Ellen McKay. Today we are going to be doing a practice for physical empowerment. You can practice on a mat, you can practice in a chair. I'll give you options for wherever you are. So first, let's find a seated position. If you're sitting on a mat and you want to add some extra padding underneath you, like a blanket or a pillow, go for it. Good. Wherever you are, settle in a little bit. Roll the shoulders up and back a couple times. Maybe move the head around a little side to side. Just taking a moment as you come into your physical body here. Eyes can even close if you choose. Nice. Let the breath come at a gentle pace. And when I think of physical empowerment, I want to encourage you to think about finding that strength that already lives inside of you. So this is not a class about fixing or changing the body in any kind of way. This is a class really about noticing exactly where you are and finding your strength there. Not only your physical strength, but also that internal strength. So let's start with a little bit of breath work, just to remind us that that strength comes from within. Take a gentle inhale, whatever feels good for you. And exhale. Let's just take a few natural breaths. So whatever rhythm feels good for you, go ahead and follow that. And instead of turning our focus to the inhale, which we tend to do sometimes, I'd like to turn the focus to the exhale instead. So as you exhale, you can make the sounds either out loud or in your mind. Shh and grrr. So when you make those sounds, maybe first out loud and then you can do it in your mind, but you may notice when you make those sounds, it engages your abdominal muscles in certain ways. So that shh is a bit more of that low belly, and that grr is a bit more of the upper belly. And we're going to repeat that a few more times. So inhale, your fullest inhale, whatever feels good, and exhale that same way, that shh, grr. And when you're ready to breathe in, breathe in. And we'll repeat that about 5 more times. So your pace, your timing. Nice. If the eyes are closed, slowly blinking the eyes back open, and we'll just come back to a rhythm of breath that feels really nice for you. Good. Let's just start rolling the shoulders up and back. Get a little more movement here. Legs can always move and change to whatever feels good for you. Good. Let's take those arms up. You can take them over the head if that feels okay. Maybe a little side stretch. Good. Float those fingertips back down. Let's lift the chest a little bit. Nice. Take the hands to the legs, round the spine, chin can tuck to the chest. Come back up. Inhale again, hands can lift. If you want, we're going to twist to the right. Good. Bring those fingertips back to center and twist to the left. Nice job. Just unwind and find your way back to center. Great. Let's come back to those cat and cow movements. So everything's going to look the same whether you're in a chair or on your mat. I'm just going to turn sideways so you can see a little bit better here. Let's inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, round the spine. Good. Let's move through that a few more times. Nice. As I was recovering from my surgery and going through treatment, my body definitely was not at my typical strength level. Good. One more time. And exhale, round. Nice. Bring it back to center. Let's take some stretches here for the neck. So bring the chin to the chest and slowly start to move the head side to side. So as I went through my treatment and recovered from my surgery, I really had to find a way to connect to my strength without relying on my physical strength. Good. Couple more times side to side. Nice. Bring the head back to center. All the way up. Good. Roll those shoulders up and back again. We'll take a forward fold. Hands walk forward. Either rest your belly near your thighs if you're seated in a chair, or you can walk your fingertips forward on your mat. So because I couldn't really rely on my physical strength to help me feel strong, I had to turn a bit more inward and find that well of strength that I used really to continue through treatment, continue through recovery. So maybe you're in a similar space today. Let's walk those hands back up, come back upright. Nice. If you're in your chair, either bring the hands together in prayer in front of the heart or reach the hands up towards the ceiling and the legs out in front. So just, we're straightening legs, straightening arms. You can change the shape as always. If you're on a mat with me, come into that downward facing dog. Nice. Then everyone's going to come into a forward fold. So if you're on your chair, just fold forward onto the thighs. If you're on your mat, come to a standing forward fold and let the head be heavy. Good. And we'll come upright together. So rise all the way back up, either seated or standing. Hands can lift above the head if you want. Exhale, hands in prayer. Nice. So we're really thinking about finding that inner strength, finding that willpower again, that kind of inner support, that inner structure. So as we move through these different shapes today, I'd really like for you to connect first to that inner strength and then let the body do what it wants to do today. It doesn't have to look like me. It doesn't have to look like you a year ago, 6 months ago, 10 years ago. So let's try to allow our bodies to be exactly where they are today and tap into that inner strength. Good. We're going to start in our chair pose. So if you're seated in a chair already, maybe those arms reach up towards the ceiling. You can even kind of take that weight a little more forward and try to hover off the chair a bit, strengthening the legs a little bit more. If you're standing, we're just going to sit back into our pretend chair and start to turn on these big muscles. Good. If you want, hands can lift up towards the ceiling. Maybe hands are in prayer. Maybe they're by the sides. We've got 3 more breaths here. So find that strength from the inside. Breathe that strength in. Exhale, let go of any doubt about yourself, about your body. Just let all that go and find your own strength. Find that amazing you. Good. One more breath here. Inhale, come back up. Arms come by the sides. Let's find our mountain pose, Tadasana. If you're seated in a chair, bring the feet to connect to the mat or something. So if the feet don't connect to the floor, maybe you've got some books you can use or a pillow, anything that you can to connect the feet to something. Arms can come by the sides. Feel that strength. Good. Feel that tall tree, right? Trees are just kind of there through all kinds of change. They change themselves. They lose all their leaves. They kind of hibernate. They come back time and time and time again. Good. Same thing with mountains, right? Mountains are there almost always. They change, but they stay strong. They stay steady. Good. Let's find that tree shape. So if you're standing, you can always use something, wall or chair for balance. If you're seated in your chair, just take that left knee out to the side. Good. If you're standing, maybe foot comes to calf, maybe up to the inner thigh. So let's find our nice strong tree. Any shape for those arms is great. Good. Several breaths here. Nice. Release that side. Let's find the tree on the other side. Right knee turns out if you're seated in a chair. Arms can be wherever you want them to be. If you're standing, you can take the leg up higher. One side might need something a little bit different, so just find your way and breathe. Very nice. Good. And release that side. Nice. Take a moment, shake everything out. Good. If you're standing, you're going to take your feet wide. Same thing if you're seated on your chair. Take the knees a little bit wider, and we're going to start to fold forward. So if you're seated in your chair, hands or forearms can come to the thighs. If you're standing on your mat, maybe hands come to thighs, shins, if you've got a block handy, or the floor. So as we come into this forward fold, you might be thinking, how is this building strength, or how am I finding strength here? But forward folds in yoga connect a lot to surrender or vulnerability. And sometimes we think of, or it's thought of in society, that if you're vulnerable, you're weak. But as we all know, choosing to be vulnerable, allowing yourself to be vulnerable, takes a lot of strength. So allow yourself to soften here and breathe for a few more rounds. Staying here as long as you'd like. Good. When you feel ready to move, hands can come to the thighs. If you're standing on your mat, bend the knees, press into the heels, use those big strong leg muscles to rise up and roll the shoulders up and back. Nice. We're going to turn the right toes out, left toes turn in. Let's find our warrior two. So hips are going to stay wide towards the long side of the mat. Shoulders roll up and back. Let me just turn here so you can see. So my hands are going to come behind. Maybe they hold onto the wrist. Maybe you clasp your fingertips together, opening up through the chest. So another shape that works with vulnerability or surrender is heart opening poses. So opening up this front part of the body, right? It's a pretty vulnerable space physically. It's got all of our important organs, and sometimes we tend to close ourselves off. But again, it takes that strength, not only physically, but emotionally, mentally, to allow us to be vulnerable, to allow us to open up to the world. Nice. Soften that. Good. Let's keep that right foot forward. This time we're going to turn towards the front of the mat. So turn towards that right leg. Nice job. Arms are going to go out to the sides. And you're going to take your left arm on top. Good. So right foot is forward, left arm is on top. If you want to do eagle arms, you can. You can give yourself a nice big hug, whatever feels right. Good. So we've got right foot forward, left arm on top, maybe eagle arms. It's also important to open up that back body, so that space between the shoulder blades. That's kind of the back, considered the back of the heart. So we want to open up that space as well. Good. Unwind the arms. And let's come into another forward fold, pyramid pose. Straighten the front leg, hands to the thigh, maybe the shin, maybe you've got some blocks handy. If you want to come to the floor, okay, but be conscious of that back. We want to keep the spine long. So maybe here it feels a little bit better than all the way down. Breathe. Very good. Bend into that right knee, press into the right foot, slowly rise up, walk those feet back together, and give yourself a little shake. Shaking is a great way to reset the nervous system. Remind our body that we're safe. It's safe. We can breathe. We can settle here. Okay, let's take those feet wide again. When you're ready, same thing on the chair, knees go wide. This time we're going to turn those left toes towards the short side of the mat and bend the left knee. So if you're in your chair, you're kind of making a similar shape here with the legs. Maybe that knee moves to the side of the chair. Maybe you stretch that leg long on the other side. If you want to take that heart opener again, hands can come behind. Maybe you hold the side of the chair. Maybe you hold wrists. Maybe you clasp those fingers together. Wherever you are, take a few breaths. Good. Slowly starting to open that heart. You got it. Nice. Release the arms. And again, we're going to turn towards the front of our mat, or towards the left leg. Same thing on the chair here. We're going to keep one knee bent. You can kind of scoot a little bit more to the edge if that gives you a little more freedom to take this left leg back. Leg doesn't have to be straight. Maybe the knee is bent. It's really up to you what feels right. So this time, arms go out. Right arm comes on top. Good. So we've got that left foot forward. Right arm comes on top. Maybe a nice big hug. Maybe you hook the fingers for eagle arms. Yep, that's it. A few more breaths here. Nice job. Good. Unwrap the arms. Straighten that front leg. Let's find our pyramid. Hands to the hips. Slowly start to tilt forward. Hands can come to thigh, shin. If you're in your chair here, just take 1 foot forward. So we're seated, 1 foot forward, and slide that hand down towards the foot. Great work. Nice. Bend the left knee, press into the left heel, rise back up. Good. Take that back foot, step it forward, and we're going to come back into our mountain pose. And then we'll find our chair. So start to sit those hips back again. Maybe you're seated in your chair already. Hands can be by the sides, by the heart, or maybe lifting up. Good. Weight is in those heels. Belly is nice and strong. You got it. A few more breaths. If you're standing and you want to add a little more balance, maybe take the weight towards the toes, lift those heels. You got it. 2 more breaths wherever you are. Nice. Heels meet the mat again, and we'll fold forward. If you're in your chair, elbows, hands, belly can come towards the thighs. Nice. 1 more breath. Good. If you're in your standing forward fold, we're slowly going to make our way down to the mat. And bring the feet out in front. So even if you're in your chair, same thing. Legs are out in front of you. Good. We're going to do a few different variations of boat pose. Again, if you're recovering from some kind of surgery, illness, injury, whatever, and you've gotten the okay from your doctor, this can be a good way to start to get back into that core stability, start to get back into that core strength. But especially with core work, take it nice and slow. Okay? I know it might be hard, but it's important. Take it slow, be kind to yourself, be easy on yourself. And if you're just feeling tired, same goes for you. Even if you haven't had surgery or an injury or illness, if your body is tired, let it be tired. Be the support for your body instead of pushing it farther. Hands come behind the thighs to start out, and maybe you start to lean back a little bit, and this is all up to you. So you're starting to engage those abdominal muscles to the amount that you want to engage them and your body wants to engage them, okay? So maybe we stay here, maybe toes touch the mat, maybe feet lift, maybe hands reach out, maybe legs straighten. So again, all those options, but I want to choose the option that feels right for my body right now. Good. I'm going to keep my hands behind my thighs. Really think about lifting that chest up. Weight is on my sits bones, so trying not to round back to my sacrum, that kind of flat part of the low back. I want to stay on that place where I sit. Those bony parts. Good. 1 more breath. Nice job. Feet come down. Good. Round over those legs. Give yourself a little break. Nice. Very good. Let's do one more opener here, a forward fold, getting into those hips a little bit more. So the soles of the feet are going to come together, knees out to the sides. If you're seated in your chair, same shape. The feet are just going to be on the ground, and the knees are going to be up more kind of on the sides of the chair. Inhale, lift up tall where you are. Exhale, start to fold. Again, let the pelvis be the boss. And breathe. A few more breaths here. Nice. Slowly come back up. We're going to do a little restorative. So if you've got a bolster, a pillow, a towel, blanket, you're going to take it probably like in a rectangle shape and maybe about like this. Either the length of your spine or longer. And you can also add an extra pillow at the top. If you are in your chair and you don't want to come to the ground, but going to a bed or a couch feels okay, you can do this shape there. Or if you're in your chair and you just want to kind of stay where you are, lean back on the chair, really allow yourself to rest. Legs can stay in that same shape, the soles of the feet together, knees out, and just kind of let the arms rest by the sides. We've got some opening here through that heart center as you relax. If you're coming down to the mat, slowly find your way onto that support. Again, maybe you add an extra pillow underneath the head if you want. Legs can stay in that soles of the feet together, knees out shape. If that doesn't feel great for back or hips, take the feet wide and the knees together, and that might feel a little bit better, a little more restful. Settle into wherever you want to be. Nice. So as we think of physical empowerment, I think sometimes the picture in our head maybe is a picture of a really strong person. Maybe they're running or lifting heavy weights or doing something really physical. But I think what takes even more strength sometimes is to rest, is to set aside those ideas of perfectionism, of productivity, and rest without guilt. So, how can you rest here? What can you soften? And if you'd like to do a little more breath work, start to take the exhales longer than the inhales. A few more breaths here. Slowly bringing some movement back to the body. Eventually rolling to one side and coming up to seated as you feel ready. If you enjoy this practice today, this is just a little sneak peek of my workshop coming up, Physical Empowerment. If you're interested, you can always message me. You're welcome to join us live, or I also offer replay links. Thank you for taking time out for you today and joining me in this practice.